don't forget, Nimrod will be on his way. Nimrod, whose tomb was found, and this article here being from 2016, cloning of Nimrod and Osiris underway. No, friends, they didn't clone Nimrod. They resurrected the body of Nimrod that they brought back from the Middle East. And this is the real reason. We actually share this over on Patreon. Sometimes we don't share everything over here on, not even on iConnect, but we shared it over on Patreon. More of the information about Nimrod, what's going on, as well as other different types of videos that we share over there on Patreon. Not always. A lot of them come here, but we do from time to time share little tidbits there that we don't always share here. But Nimrod's body was the main reason we went to war in Iraq. And that's something a lot of people are not aware of. The U.S. wanted his body. In fact, Hillary Clinton was a major player in securing that body back, even though Bill was not even president, had not been president. It was under George Bush, and Hillary Clinton was being seen there at the White House. What for? For that body of Nimrod. Not just the body of Nimrod, but there were also some artifacts that were found in his tomb that helped to make CERN, the Hadron Collider, operable to break into other dimensions. You might want to check out the video we did over that on Patreon, Israeli News Live. I'll try to leave you a link below there so you can see that for yourself. But at any rate, I was told just recently, going against everything scientific that it seems to be possible, how could that be? How could they resurrect a body that is over 3,000 years old, the biblical Nimrod, who was trying to build a tower that reached heaven? I've always said that was an interdimensional tower is what it was, not a physical tower up into the sky. And oddly enough, they found the very things in his tomb that made them be able to pull that off as well. And they did with CERN. They're able to go into other dimensions. They have reached into the heavens, so to speak. Well, as I was told, Nimrod's body was brought to life. They found a way to bring his body back to life. I have a very strange feeling that Nimrod may end up being either the Antichrist or, remember, the beast had power. They gave life unto the image over in the book of Revelation. Something to think about, right? Really, really crazy things going on. That, by the way, is why we have the staged event. That was another thing that was shared with me from Washington just recently. This whole issue in Israel is staged by... Good afternoon, friends. Steve Benoon here with Israeli News Live and on our Patreon channel. This is a little tidbit, little extra special broadcast that you guys get to see here on Patreon that we're not sharing elsewhere. Different reasons. One, no doubt it'll be controversial, but at the same time, it's just a little something extra for our friends here on Patreon we wanted to share. And this is about Nimrod. Of all characters, biblically speaking, some very interesting things were shared with me recently in a private meeting that I had, and I wanted to share those things with you because I thought it might be of a great interest for our listeners to know about these things. And when I say Nimrod, maybe we should actually title the video, "Why Did We Really Go to War with Iraq?" Most people would say, well, according to Netanyahu, is because Saddam Hussein was trying to acquire weapons of mass destruction. Oh, well, they invaded Kuwait. What else is a better reason to go to war with Iraq and overthrow the country and cause other problems? And then others would say, no, we went to war with Iraq because of the oil. Well, all those things are wrong. But yet it was the pretext for war. It was the, 9/11. It was, after all these terrorists that took down the Twin Towers in New York City, and we went to war because of 9/11. No, but what's really sad to say, though, is that 9/11 was actually a sacrifice of how many thousands of people died? Some 2,000 plus people died as a sacrifice. Could that have actually been a sacrifice for their god Nimrod that they were going to extract from Iraq? Well, I can't really say on those issues there, but I can tell you that what we have discovered recently was the main purpose for going to war in Iraq was to extract not only the mummy of Nimrod, but also the artifacts that were surrounding his body. As weird as that may sound, that is very true. I also found out that when, of course, George Bush was president, George Bush Sr. at the time was president of the United States when this was all going on. And this is when Hillary and Bill Clinton began to show up at the White House. They were being seen by a very particular individual that I know were being seen there in the White House during the times of when George Bush was president, and Hillary Clinton played a major role in making sure, maybe we should say, that the mummy of Nimrod would be brought back to the United States after the Gulf War. And yes, we did find and we did extract this body along with other artifacts and things like that from Iraq, and it was brought back. Well, in the process of all of this is, some of the very interesting things that you find out is that not only did they bring back the body of Nimrod, but they brought back some very interesting artifacts, of which it was not disclosed to me what those artifacts were. But ironically enough, it was at that particular time that we got the major part of the CERN, or Hadron Collider, that was constructed over in Europe. The main part of the facility that was constructed was done after those artifacts were brought back, some 10 years roughly afterwards, that the CERN Hadron Collider really began its major jump forward in technology. Something that was pointed out to me, there was something about the burial place of Nimrod that had some artifacts there that projected us forward with technology like no other time in history. I'm blown away by the things that were shared with me about this and what we were actually doing at the time in Iraq, to gather these artifacts and to gather the very mummy of Nimrod. But it didn't end there. Another very strange thing that was shared with me about the mummy of Nimrod is that the United States, when they brought the mummy of Nimrod back, that his body was actually in remarkable condition. And as soon as I heard this, the first thing that popped in my mind was, were they trying to clone his body? Are they trying to clone him to bring him to life, to create an Antichrist type of being? Well, then I find this article here, back from 2016, Nimrod's tomb found, cloning of Nimrod and Osiris underway. So it wasn't such a far-fetched idea. But then I was told, Steve, his body was in such remarkable condition, they weren't even needing to clone it. They actually went into the ether to try to get a spirit to place within the body of Nimrod. And I'm like totally blown away by what I was hearing. I mean, if we think about the scripture, though, when it talks about this man of sin that we read about in Revelation, or the beast, said, that he was able to breathe. How was it that scripturally speaking about that? I forget right off the top of my head, though. But he gave power, or was able to breathe life into the image of this beast. They made an image of the beast. Is able to bring life into him. I don't know. It's just of course, conjecture, but I thought I'd share some of that with you. You don't every day get to hear things like that. When you hear about top secret things that the government has done in the past, why we really went to war with Iraq. As the title suggests here, and of course I haven't actually named it as I'm doing this video here, but the DARPA scientists are working with the body of Ninrode under Colorado. That is what we're going to get into today, as well as some other things that they're doing. But anyway, friends that I have that are in the intelligence community that have shared this type of information with me, that tell me about that was actually done with Bill Clinton. And not only that, but in the last couple of years, they have been studying deeply about the some sort of energy that is transferred. Demonic possession is really what it comes down to. That can be transferred. These scientists call it energy because they're atheists. They don't believe in God, so therefore they don't believe in demons. But they do know they refer to this more as an energy. But those scientists that are believers in Jesus, that know about these things, they call it demonic entities. And they have done experiments on human beings because they're able to detect and follow this energy as it moves. And they have seen that they can easily move this energy or these spirits into the human body. And these people then become demonically possessed. So these are some of the things that are going on. And as a result of this, this is what I'm leading up to on this, it was shared with me a little while back, maybe a month or so ago, that against everything scientifically, that one scientist friend of mine could possibly believe, that it was said that the body of Nimrod, they had successfully put his spirit back in, or we would say a spirit, not so much, we can't verify that it's his spirit, but a spirit into that body that they brought back from Mosul, Iraq. Also reminding you, those of you that may not know, it was Hillary Clinton that was heavily involved